today's episode of our Microsoft 365 and AI series, where I get to show you one feature that can help you to elevate your experience and empower you to do better. I'm going to be walking you through four key settings that you need to enable today in your Outlook Copilot. So let's get started. Now, I have my Outlook open here. You can open your Outlook on the desktop. I'm accessing Outlook from the web. So if you're accessing it from the desktop, please open it. And if you're accessing it from the web, you can just go to outlook.cloud.microsoft, and that will take you to this window once you sign in with your appropriate organizational email and password and every other thing that's required. Now, once you're here, beside your home, which is going to be the tab you would be on, I want you to click on Files. So now when you click on Files, you're going to see Settings. Now there's another way of going about this. You can also just go to the settings again here, and you'll also be able to access your Outlook settings, right? So whichever option works for you is still the same and view you are going to access. So now when you are here in your settings window where you see all the settings that you can enable for Copilot, we are going to go to the very last setting that we have on this list here that says Copilot. To the point. So we have four critical settings that you need to configure today in your Copilot for Outlook to get it to sound and act the way that you want it to act. When you have these AI assistants, they are pre-designed to help you to optimize your workflows, but they're also designed in ways that you're able to leverage those tools and customize it to your own peculiar needs. Now, these four settings are going to allow you to do just that. Let's start with preferences. First, under preferences, I want you to please just turn on Copilot. Turn on this button. I've already turned it on. This is going to allow Copilot to get to understand your data that you have from your emails, your meetings, and so that it can help you to give richer content. Like it already says, this your data is not used to train any model. One of the biggest problems that Microsoft has made from time immemorial since the start of their AI journey is making sure that they protect your data from getting into the large language models that help us to deliver these generative AI experiences that we use. So please turn this on so that I can have Copilot enabled for you. Next up, we have prioritize. This is the first of the many. Here, this particular functionality here basically allows you to define to Copilot, to guide Copilot as to how it's going to organize your emails. Think about this like you have an assistant. This person understands you so well, but now you're going to give them clues as to what is important and how they should tag things within your emails. And that is going to be your Copilot in Outlook. So what we're going to be doing here, first, this button is going to be turned off or on for you. If it's turned off, please turn it on and let's get what we need to enable. You're going to enable this so that you can be able to see generated AI summaries. You know, when you open your emails at the top, you're going to see like a summary of all the threads. Imagine that there's been a conversation that has been happening for like 2 months, and you are trying to get up to speed to what's going on there. Maybe you're just looped in at some point. Imagine that always happens in work settings. You want to quickly get grabs. This is basically how it allows you to get an AI summary because Copilot again understands your data. It just helps you to quickly provide a summary about what has been discussed in that long conversation thread. Then we have the second button you're going to be enabling. That is apply low priority. You can already see that the arrow points down. I'm going to explain further as we go on within this. So you're going to enable that again. Now, where does all of this come together? Imagine that you have projects that are very critical. You have things that you're working on, and you want Copilot to be able to tag them and prioritize them within your inbox without even you doing anything. So you're even out and about doing other things that you have to do, but Copilot is there working for you, right? If you have listened to my previous videos, you always hear me say this is an AI assistant that understands you and works for you even when you're not around. So yeah, in a high priority, this is where you're going to be defining high stake emails that you want Copilot to tag for you as high priority. The way this is going to look like in your email box is that you're going to see emails that have the arrow up green with a circle up, and it's going to also um and spotlight them for you in your emails. So you'll see that they're very, very important, right? Um, then here is where you're going to define what those emails are. What are the clues that Copilot is going to use when it's looking through your data to know what really should be tagged as high priority? So I could say something like emails from my manager about this particular project, right? So you can just write emails from my manager and you define your manager's name, emails from, let's say your manager's name is Benedict, about, let's say, AI strategy, right? That's what you're working on, and then you add it. So now when Copilot is working on when Copilot is going through your emails and helping you to organize things, it'll always just tag things that are related to AI strategy from your manager, Benedict. Now is the low priority. Maybe there are things that really just come, routine messages that come, and you don't want them to be crowding your inbox. You want Copilot to just tag them as low priority with the arrow down and all. You can also define that. What I did in my own Outlook is all those events that I signed up to, marketing emails that I might not really want to see. Right. I just tagged all of them as low priority. Um, they'll still be in your mailbox. It's not like they're going to get deleted, but yeah, you can define what those things are. I've given an example as well to subscription emails. I just subscribe to stuff sometimes, and I know that I subscribe to those things, and I don't want them crowding my inbox. And now I've defined them as low priority. So now what Copilot is going to do, it's going to take all of this and all my emails that it receives going forward, it's going to start tagging them. Can you imagine that? So once you're done, please make sure to hit save. And now this is now one of the settings. The next one is draft instructions. So next, let's set up our draft instructions. Now, when you're working with Copilot, you're creating those email drafts, right? Sometimes you have the way you speak. Everybody has their own natural voice. The way I'm talking now, if you ask me to walk you through this again at a different time, I'm going to talk about this completely differently. The choice of words, and the expressions I'm going to use will be completely different. They will be relative because it's still me and I have my voice. So you have those ways that you sound and you want it to be reflected in your emails, right? You are going to get Copilot to do that by defining instructions. So when you hear instructions, don't just lose it, right? Hold on. It's just basically defining the behaviors, the way you want Copilot to act. That's just it. So in Outlook here, you're going to be defining how you want Copilot to act. Now, usually when I have these conversations with people, it goes one of the both ways. Oh, I know what I want, and they just type it out. And then there's the other ones that say, you know what, it's in my head, but I don't really know how to put it together in prompts. That is why Microsoft has already released for us the Copilot prompt agent. You can go to your Copilot prompt agent with a W, holding down the Windows and H key together to activate voice typing, or you can also use the voice option in the Copilot window there. You can explain to the prompt coach what you want and tell it to help you to redesign that prompt for you to use as an instruction within your Copilot draft instructions window. And once that is done, you define the length, the tone, what you want it to be, your just what is important to you, to the way you want Copilot to be drafting your emails. That's what you're going to be doing here. Now, once you're done with that, fill it in and then you save just like that, right? So I just wanted this save button to activate so that you can see this. You just save. I just copied this from when I was doing the last one we're going into and pasted it here. But yes, that is what I just explained now is how you're going to do it. So once you're done, you copy that prompt that is given, review the prompt, make sure that it communicates the way you want to define the behaviors that you give to Copilot, your Copilot here. And once you're done, you paste it here and then you save. Then we have the last of the 4 settings. We're almost done, right? Okay, calendar instructions. These ones are very important. You know that Outlook is where your calendar is directly attached, right? It's also attached into your Teams. But whatever behaviors you define here applies across board, regardless of the um endpoint from which you are assessing, or the entry point from which you are assessing calendar. Now, your view is going to be different. This is all going to be grayed out for you. Everything you have here will be grayed out. But I'll show you how you can activate that. First of all, you want to start by clicking create instructions. Once you click on create instructions, Copilot is quickly going to go inside of your Outlook now. That is the mail window, and initiate this conversation that you can see happening at the corner of my screen here. It's going to go through and check if you have any instructions, because once you hit that, it just says help me set up Copilot instructions for managing my calendar. Now it's going to go and start evaluating to see if you already have existing instructions. I have two, they're existing, right? So it's going to pull that. For yours, since this is your first time, you're going to get things along the lines of you don't have any calendar instructions. Can I help you to do this and that? It will give you options, right, of the kind of instructions that you can define for it. One of them will be automatically delete declined events, which is what you saw in the draft instruction. I just literally copied it and put there, right? Now, you can choose any of them, right? And so I can just choose, for example, this one. I'll copy it. Or you're also going to see those suggested prompts. You can select any of them. I'm just going to paste this one, and I would go again, right? Now I've taken one of the instructions. You can also just define yours now, like the way you want your calendar to be managed. You can define it now, and Copilot will take that, and it will now ask you, okay, it has taken that as an instruction. Now the next question is going to be asking you, oh, is this what you want, and should I go ahead to do it? Again, your Copilot always wants to get your interaction to make sure that to verify, right, when it's trying to execute actions on your behalf. So yes, I'm going to type yes, I want you to do that, and now it's going to go and create my first instruction. Or in your case, this is not my first, but yeah, in your case it's going to be your first, or probably not, right? And now it's created the first instruction that we have. Now when you go back to this window, when you're done with that, you go back to your settings and your Copilot and your calendar instructions, you will now notice that all these buttons will be activated for you. Next, you're going to click on view instructions. View instructions is basically, again, another query back to your Copilot to say, hey, can you list all the calendar instructions that I have? This is your way of getting to know what kind of instructions you've already defined in the past to Copilot. Maybe you're coming back again to ask Copilot to help you construct another set of instructions to enable that it would be executing autonomously, right, based off what you defined, right? You can come and check all the things that you've done. In my personal calendar, I have the automatically delete declined invites, right? So once I just decline, it's gone, right? And Copilot just does that by itself. Um, Now you'll be able to see a list of all the calendar actions that you have, instructions that you have enabled. Now we're going back again to the settings view. This is my favorite navigation flow, right? So you can choose to go through the gear icon here. It's still fine. Next is to see view actions. So these view actions again is going to be another conversation. You notice that everything that we're doing on this particular setting is coming back to this Copilot chat window, right? And it's now going to ask, it's going to check all the instructions that you've given to it. How many times has it like executed any of them? You're going to see it run over time. So in your personal email, right, this is a fresh new environment, a lot of things are new yet. There's not a lot of data here. I'm getting you to understand and activate what is required and also working you through the process. So you're going to see the run history of all of those instructions that you've enabled. Next up,
we have the needs actions. So needs actions basically helps you to see important actions that you have defined before that need attention, that you need to do some kind of review or revisit. So once you click on that, it's going to take us back again into your Copilot window where we'll be having our conversations. And you see that it says show me calendar actions that need attention on my calendar. So you've been defining instructions. Now it's time for you to check. Maybe there are things that are having some kind of conflicts or errors. You need to check them, or you just realize that some of your actions are not executing the way that you expected them to execute. You're going to go back to that setting and you would come here, Copilot to check and tell you any errors or any challenges that are happening with any of your actions. That is the instructions that you've defined previously. So that's all of it for the four settings that you need to enable to get your Copilot in Outlook to begin to act the perfect way that you want it to. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. In our next video, I'm going to be going back to one of the previous videos that we had covered. Microsoft keeps bringing new innovations into these solutions. I'm going to show you one of the features I've covered before, but now more elevated. So see you again, and thank you so much for being a part of this particular episode of this series.